I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, don't worry about it. You have one really long white hair sticking out.
Well, it's because he's distinguished.
I'm trying to go for that Reed Richards look as I get older.
Right? It's just like...
It's like that one.
It's really sticking out, Josh.
I'm so I don't know what to tell you. If you must.
Apologize for your hair.
Here, there. I hit it. It's fine. No, it doesn't want to stay in.
Can somebody check to see if we're fine on the stream?
Oh,
I totes can, yo.
There it is. It looks like we are live. I got the notification.
Awesome. On YouTube?
Yes.
Because we can't stream this to Twitch. We'll get kicked off.
Yep.
Grimnar the Wizard, hi. Hello.
Hey, Grimnir. Oh, there it is. All right, so we are live.
Change it from live to...
I already put it on to top. Live chat, not top chat.
Oh, okay.
We're fine.
Never mind.
It's just kind of hard to see it from here.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, welcome back to the Hentai Literature Club. I am your club president, Josh. I have my usual suspects with me to discuss hentai and the hentai artists we are discussing for our season 2 of the Hentai Literature Club. This episode is the man, the myth, the legend, John K. Peta. Xavier, once again, you are one of the few people familiar with John K. Peta, or one of the few people familiar with the artist or work I decided to talk about.
Can I just say one thing? I am a bit disappointed. For as long as I have known you and Tom, you guys built up John K. Peta to just this fucking incredible monolith of weirdness. And this is not half as weird as some of the shit that Josh himself has
In John K. Peta's defense, Josh didn't choose the weirdest stuff.
I didn't do the stuff with the nose fucking or anything like that.
Fair point, but man, we read that one tentacle one. This is kind of...
Which tentacle one?
That one tentacle one.
The one in the dungeon where she started shooting tentacles out of her tits.
Oh, yeah.
The one
To
that
be
I
fair,
picked.
I didn't pick that one.
That was mean. I picked that one.
Okay, well, you're a weirdo, and I love you.
Yep.
But, I've been so desensitized by the crap you people have exposed me to, this doesn't even ping on my radar.
But he is unusual.
It pinged a little on my radar. I was like, okay.
So I don't know what you watch or read, Charlie, but like eyeball licking is, and womb crushing, and
egg squishing,
taking it out. I mean, if that's normal for you, that's fine. Just don't show me any of that, you fucking degenerate.
Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, well, what can you tell the audience about what you know about Mr. John K. Peta?
He's a fucking degenerate. Nah. With more liberal views of human anatomy than pre-Renaissance. I mean, it's still not, like, grotesque, right? It's just strange.
Yeah, I think Yusuf, before we went live, had a very interesting way of putting it. He said the man has an incredible way of making sex disgusting in the cleanest way possible. Sanitary disgust. I didn't put it quite into words like that, but I did kind of notice it. Even though really weird or gross stuff happens, he doesn't draw it in a grotesque way.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, does he not? Well,
no,
think
about it.
Yeah.
Because like there's vomit, right?
Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't look realistic. It's like an anime when somebody gets punched in the stomach really hard.
Yeah, just
like the water that comes out. That's what it looks like. That's how he draws it.
It just looks like spooge.
But the other big thing like that is his liberal views of human anatomy, as you put it. I refer to him as the auteur of human anatomy, because to me, John K. Peta seems to see the human, specifically female human anatomy, as a suggestion when it comes to the positions and what the female body's capable of performing and putting out.
As most men do. I'm just kidding.
Betsy Munzer said, "Oh my god, it's the worst author ever."
Oh, that's kind of interesting that you think that, because when I was looking at like the comments on some of these works, especially like I picked 2 old ones. I picked, as you saw, the Wildly Blossoming Woman, the Waku Waku Onesan Chapter 4, just because it has the infamous womb grasping scene. And then I picked his newest one, at least I think it's his newest one, which is I Fall Apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I Fall Apart has like, oh, finally a new John K. Peta work. I fucking love this guy. And so it's like with a lot of tags and artists, it's like, even though I don't like this, I know there's people who, for them, this is absolutely their thing.
He said it sneaks up on you.
It does sneak up on you.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you.
Like, I've never seen this guy before, and at first when I started reading, I was like, okay, that's not too bad. Like, that's going to where I like it, and then it was like, no.
Well, because you kind of get bamboozled, because it's pretty normal at first, right?
Yeah.
Like, almost all of his work isn't, like, egregiously weird at first.
It's like typically like
I
normal
almost
premise.
felt like he was doing like a parody on hentai. Like, I want to make this as weird as possible because hentai is just weird, and I want to make fun of it. That's what it felt like to me.
Did you read the little afterword on that one?
The first one I did.
The
I
wildly
think so,
blossoming.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, to him, this is something he likes.
Yeah.
I don't think he's making fun of anything. I think this is.
No, I know.
He likes
and then-
extreme weird things, and this is. He wants to push himself.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I felt like that, like at the beginning, and then when I read that, I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
Like, he likes it. He
Yeah.
really likes it.
The cover is normal. That's a good way of putting it. From what I know about him is I thought he might have been a Western artist due to the whole John K. Peta name, but it turns out that's just his pen name.
Right, and it was based off of the way John Carpenter.
Yeah, that's what I found out when I was researching him. There's not a whole lot about him, just because there's not a whole lot about hentai or edo manga artists in general. But one of the few things I found out is that John K. Peta comes from the pronunciation of John Carpenter. And for those of you who don't know John Carpenter or don't recognize him right away, he's a famous horror director. One of the biggest works he ever did was The Thing. When I told you guys that clicked something in your head as you were reading John K. Peta's work.
I'm hoping he didn't draw inspiration
From The Thing. I
But-
thought it was funny that on Discord earlier you mentioned The Thing at some point. I was like, very
yeah, that's right.
topical. Except that was what, in relation to Cthulhu?
Yeah. How
And
it's like it's how something horrible can be described. You're just too lazy to use your words. No. But yeah, how.
I feel like on stream we're being a little laggy every once in a while.
It's
I'm
it
not
is
sure.
not buttery smooth.
Yeah, it's not. It's like we're choppy almost.
Why are we chopping?
Yusuf,
I was referencing what you said earlier, Yusuf.
these readings almost compelled me to pick up smoking again. Thanks, fuckers.
You're welcome.
Don't smoke.
You need some of that you need the smoke to keep you warm in those Canadian winters.
Which are probably the same as Canadian springs and falls. I'm assuming you guys don't really get a summer,
The summer's really nice.
but is it like our spring?
But it kills Canadians, remember? Weren't people dying from heat stroke in like 86 Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
What?
When I was in Montreal a few summers ago, literally everybody was shirtless, and it's like I was just like, no, it's not that hot.
Here,
But then I realized it's because they don't see the sun.
here in West Texas, emo kids and goth people and just any sort of dark dressed people still wear sweaters in 100-degree weather.
I don't know if I. Maybe. I
I'm
don't think I've ever worn like a full-on sweater in 100-degree weather, but I dress like this year-round.
I wear pants a lot sometimes.
I think I did at
Even
one
during
point
summer.
in high school.
I'm wearing long sleeve right now and it's pretty warm out. So.
The John K. Peta tag worse than the books tags for real. So what kind of tags did you all kind of notice that cropped up with John K. Peta? What did you see across these three works? Like I said, 2 of them are older. The last one is the newest one. That's why I labeled them 1, 2, and 3. Because I'm pretty sure I did it correctly with going from oldest to newest. Before you say that though, he has been making edo manga for almost 15 years. So this man has been in the business for almost 2 decades.
Bravo, sir.
Fucking insane.
I think his first work was published in 2005.
I actually expected him to be older than that.
No, yeah. What were you about to say before I interrupted you?
I think auteur of human anatomy is a good way to put it. I clicked on it earlier, like I said, like he likes to draw breasts very strangely, but that's not all. Like he really likes to reinterpret the body a lot. I'm not as well versed in the medium to know what tags I would apply to this, but he definitely goes for the, let's say, less populous end of the spectrum.
Well, one of the things I noticed immediately is almost all of his work. You know how, like in a lot of, even in porn in general, when a woman is having extreme sexual pleasure, she squirts.
Yeah.
It seems in John K. Peta's work, when a woman is reaching the peak of sexual pleasure, she throws up.
And squirts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. At the same time.
I noticed that a couple times.
What
But
if?
most of that was due to like some kind of stomach stimulation.
Yeah,
Just
which
so
is weird,
much.
right? Thinking of the stomach as like a sexual organ, because there's that work in the Wildly Blossoming Sakura one, I think, or Wildly Blossoming Black something, where the girl is fisting her partner, and it goes all the way up to her stomach.
Yeah.
And she puts all of her arm in there.
Yeah. Don't try that at home.
Is it that weird? I mean, if you think of the anus as a sexual orifice, it's kind of connected.
Yeah, it's not the anus that's weird, it's the stomach that's weird, because the hand goes all the way into the stomach, and that's where she's kind of stimulating is from the anus to the stomach.
Which it doesn't really work.
Well, because unless your arm was just wiggling through the intestines.
Well, the intestine would straighten out, wouldn't it? But then I'm really trying to imagine
You're just
how this works.
moving everything in there too much, I think.
I mean, she'd probably be dead.
Because like I've heard of women sticking plungers up there. Okay, like it's not outside the realm of possibility. However, I just don't know what it would look like anatomically on the inside. If you were to take a cross section of the human body, I assume because we have what, like 30 feet of intestine within us.
I thought it was more than that. Isn't it like 60?
Probably, I don't know. But so you'd have this is just a sleeve, and then what? You just have flattened intestine like
Well, that's
all
the
around
thing.
the fist as you punch up into the stomach.
You
It's
don't
also
need-
physically impossible to penetrate the room, but here we go.
No, to penetrate the what?
The womb.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's kind of a trope at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in fairness to John K. Pita, a lot of edo manga artists do the whole womb penetration thing.
Also,
Yeah.
Is it physically impossible
Or is your penis just
to
not
hold
big
onto
enough?
the ovaries like that?
So what?
Yeah, speaking. Oh, she was saying though,
The
is it physically
holding.
possible to go inside a vagina and pinch the ovaries?
Oh fuck no! There's
Yeah.
If you do
He
a
doesn't
pap
give a
smear,
fuck.
they can feel it. Like, they can push down
Yeah,
on your
but then-
stomach and feel it, but they can't
You-
grab
you-
it,
yeah,
you know?
can't pinch it and be like, oh, what a bunch of springy little eggs.
And he fucking disconnected one. That gave me.
And
like,
one of them, he has
shivers.
sex
I
with the.
don't even know.
I think it's in the chapter 5 of that one. It might be for the Waku Waku Ane-san.
Yeah.
I think he has sex with one of the girls' fallopian tubes.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
kind of like slipped right in there. Just like, what? So it goes into the room. And it's just like, well, like, I still got more room. Go off to the side. And it works.
Approximately 3 meters of intestine.
What is that in American?
That's like 9 feet.
I thought it was more than that. I thought,
Yeah, I thought so too. Whatever.
Yeah,
I
but
think
speaking
he's
of
gonna do
anatomy,
that.
that's something he likes to do a lot, right? He likes doing the Mortal Kombat cross section of what it looks like on the
Yeah.
inside.
But at the same time, he doesn't, right? Because, like you said, he draws disgusting things cleanly. So, like,
That's what
in-
Yusuf said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, as Yusuf said, so like he could have done a cross section when that one chick was stomping on the other one's womb, but he chose not to. You know,
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
Yeah.
With her foot inside?
It shows the foot inside the crushing the womb.
Yeah, hang on.
Okay, I remember it differently, but I could be wrong.
I gotta find the page now.
I have my own porn, madam.
Do you?
Actually, I don't think I downloaded these.
You guys got strong
it is
stomachs?
Page... Oh my god.
Yeah,
18.
there's-
Is it because I'm eating while we're doing this? You know what?
This isn't the worst we've
What,
seen.
you?
It really isn't the worst we've seen.
What for you is the worst then?
We're just grizzled veterans at this point.
I'm not gonna lie, it made me cringe a few times. I was
Maybe?
like, oh.
That's what I wanted to ask you. You two, as women who see such liberal takes on how the anatomy works, what do you think or feel when you see the ovary pinching and the womb stomping and stuff like
It was
that?
uncomfortable. I didn't like that.
I thought it was funny.
I noticed you laughing a lot.
That was the funny part. Like it was funny, but at the same time, I'm like, oh god.
I thought it was funny just because it was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so far away from true life.
And it's funny because I was less uncomfortable by the prolapsing because I've seen that before in a different.
But you can't
hentai, and I
prolapse
was
a
like,
vagina though, can you? I know
I
an
thought that was
anus.
hilarious.
You can
I think you can prolapse an
yeah,
anus.
no, you can prolapse a vagina.
Okay.
As well. Yeah.
I don't know if that was physically possible or not, because I know.
It happens to some older women as well,
Mm.
and they have to do Kegels, so
But
it
it
doesn't
was-
happen again.
It was the uterus that was out.
Yeah, just like everything
Well, you know, that was
out.
her womb and stuff. That was just all of that
It's
hanging
just
out.
like,
I don't
how-
know about that
Her womb dick or whatever he called it.
Her dick.
Oh, that's what he says. He says womb dick.
Yeah.
You're stroking my womb dick.
Yeah.
And at one point, when he's pinching the athletic girl's ovaries, she's like, "Oh, those are my precious lady nuts." I like Yusuf's comment. Liberal, more like libertine. He also, I remember, on the Discord beforehand, Yusuf also referred to him as the Marquis de Sade of hentai.
I don't know if that's fair. Okay, we've read a lot of weird shit. I don't think he's earned Marquis de Sade.
Yeah, he might be a better writer than Marquis de Sade.
Oh.
He's not a good writer. If you've ever read his work, like, it's crazy and it's weird, but it's not well written.
No, I'm not really into French.
That's what bothers you.
That it's in French.
Oh yeah. It's written by a French person. What intelligent thing will they have to say?
I don't know. I like Alexander Dumas's work. Yeah. Other than like tags you noticed, were there any other things that seemed obvious to you, or that you thought about?
you see?
I've just been used to John K. Peta, right?
When did you discover John K. Peta? Because I legitimately think John K. Peta might be one of the first Edo manga artists I ever read. Because I remember going on an image board, and somebody posted that picture that I put on the Discord of the eyeball
Hold on.
licking.
Hold on. This is one of the first things you saw, and you thought, "Yeah, I like this. I'm gonna."
Yeah, this
That's
is
what
nice.
happened.
No,
This is
That's
my
what
thing.
happened?
That was your first experience, and look at yourself now.
Yeah.
I think you need to ask yourself some questions.
John K. Peta.
I thought it was weird. I actually didn't read it for a while. I was like, this is
I don't know.
I'd
about
say
them.
probably going on like 10 years now.
that you've known about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the one I gave you, the wildly blossoming one, I think that one came out in 2009. So
Yeah.
10 years ago would be pretty accurate to when people might have seen it.
Before he rose to memedom.
Other than finding it humorous, what did you think about
I
it?
didn't know you were so sick, Josh. I'm just kidding.
It's funny now until he goes to lick your eyeball.
I know.
Or goes to stroke your lady dick.
You cannot lick my eyeballs, okay?
Okay.
He's just gonna come at you later tonight. Daddy's here.
Oh god.
Josh, we're sorry.
I know. Yeah, it's hard for me to read it with the glare.
Yeah.
I would physically assault you if you tried that.
It took me 9 pages where the weird shit started. He really sneaks up on you. Yeah.
Yeah, because he has like general like hentai premises, right?
Yeah.
And then just kind of boo.
Like I said, at first I was like, okay, this is going in a route I like with like the dominant submissive thing, and then it was like, oh god, no, never mind.
In
Go
a
back.
funny way, Wildly Blossoming Black Serena is the first Yuri work I've ever asked you to read.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is it really?
yeah. Xavier, is this what you would consider base standard for Yuri?
Yeah. You know.
I feel like we have to write some Yuri stuff. Really?
Didn't we? Oh god.
We did Futa already,
Is
didn't
it
we?
Futa considered that?
I don't want to consider Fuda Yuri.
What?
That's cheating.
It's not cheating.
Yeah.
It's too.
No,
females.
because that's like having yaoi with a cunt boy. That doesn't work. It's not really yaoi.
That's not true. I feel like, but okay.
Well, what's a cunt boy? It's just a flat girl. That doesn't count.
But again, what if he also has both?
And they all mentioned, because we were talking about how clean it all is, right?
Yeah.
But they also all mention like poop or pee.
Oh yeah, like the what do you call it? Not scatophilia, but
Corporophilia.
coprophilia. There we go.
Yusuf said Fuda is gay, but it's not Yuri.
There you go. See, Yusuf knows. If there's a dick involved, like a real dick, not a strap-on, that's not really Yuri. But yeah, this work is fairly typical of Yuri, where even when they're doing gross things to each other, it has a certain purity that is obnoxious to me.
Certain purity.
You mean when she's like, "No, I want you to do all these things to me.
Yeah.
I love it when you do this to me."
Also, all of their butts are just really flexible because they were just like, oh look.
He does that to butts and
The world
vaginas.
has many doors, that boy.
So the first work, Wildly Blossoming Black Serena. Who would like to summarize this? Chaz? No.
I guess
You
I
looked at me. I'm sorry.
I was looking at this and trying to figure out if snail dick Fudas was gay. I don't even know what a snail dick Fuda is. But anyway, Wildly Blossoming Black Serena. So there's this volleyball team, and I guess it's like a college volleyball team. It was implied.
We'll go with
High
that.
school or college, one of the two. Anyway, so one of these girls gets picked on and treated especially harshly by the team captain. And then they go into the showers, and it is revealed that the team captain and the girl that gets picked on are actually in a dominant submissive relationship. And then weird John K. Peta stuff happens.
Eyeballs are licked.
And
Butts are stretched.
2 years after that, the submissive one becomes the team captain herself and continues the cycle with other girls.
I mean, it's like they have a sixth sense of being able to recognize who's into that shit.
Who's a little sub?
Yeah. I feel like I cut a lot out of that summary, but I also feel like I didn't subtract anything. So.
No, I think that was perfect.
Yeah, that was good.
Chaz, what did you think about the whole dominant submissive representation in this story?
Well, I've never stamped on Melinda's ovary, so again, we're bringing the auteur
Clearly,
of human
you're
anatomy.
doing it wrong.
God damn it.
I don't think he is. I'm okay.
Well, how do you know? We haven't tried it yet.
I would physically
When it
assault
was
you.
happening, I was thinking, I don't think a foot fits in there, right? Like,
Have
Again,
you
it's-
seen the
okay.
stuff on porn websites that girls shove up
Yeah,
their
it's
Made to
vaginas?
pass a
haven't.
child, to quote Chasing Amy.
yeah, but a lot of things go.
No,
happen before a child comes out of there.
No, I've seen women put wine bottles that are like this big up
Yeah,
there.
it's
and
borderline
everything.
genital mutilation.
Or have you seen Moby Dick, the dildo? That's like
Oh no, I was like, yeah,
size
Moby
of a
Dick, I've
woman
read that.
It's possible to shove huge things in there, but usually it takes months to years of preparing that body part to be able to take that in.
Yeah, you
Like
can't do it in one
K,
go.
Yeah, John K.
Like,
Pita just kind of skips the.
No,
preparation
they've
part.
been at it for a year.
Oh, I guess that's true.
And,
Right?
they've been at the relationship for a while, so it's possible.
yeah, Munzer. Yeah, like bad dragon dildos. Yeah, exactly. Like those things are huge.
But as far as the
They're made to
dominant submissive thing, I've never really like hurt you in public. I've never really I don't degrade you in front of people.
No.
Now that
So you-
might be a thing that happens in certain relationship, but usually it's in that setting. You know what I mean? It'll happen at like a BDSM party where everybody
munch.
has consented to this. But you know, if we're just out on the street, like I don't treat her like that. Other than
No.
that, besides the whole layer of the auteur of human anatomy, I guess it was pretty box standard.
Do you think that? Well, this is a question for everyone, but do you think that the way, like the weird way John K. Pita incorporates sexual acts that are unusual, like the whole weird human anatomy stuff, interacts with the sort of almost mundane hentai plots? Or do you think it's almost like it's just a mundane hentai plot, it's just, but the sex now has been made kind of extraordinary or weird or
I think
unusual?
that's what it is.
Yeah.
He just like it's like generic hentai plot and then just pedophile.
Make it weird as possible.
Are we sure it's not John K. Pita? Because I've been trying to figure out how you pronounce John Carpenter in Japanese since this afternoon.
Just without doing like an accent or anything? Like
Well,
John.
if you
Kata
translated it into katakana, I'm pretty sure it would come out John Kapeta.
Yeah, probably.
Peta? Yeah. That sounds pretty similar, especially if you say the John K. Pita part and put the Japanese accent, or in katakana.
I'd be very surprised if somebody doesn't try and correct us. Including John K. Pita himself. Would you like to correct us? Come on down.
It's like, aha, what's his name? Joey the Anime Man may have gotten Shindo L on for his interview. We'll get John K. Pita. No.
That's what I said earlier. Maybe it's a parody, but no.
No, he actually likes it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he likes
that's-
writing this stuff.
To me, there's nothing about this that hints that he's mocking, making fun of, or trying to change it.
Yeah, like this is
Well,
just
the reason
this
why-
is kind of vanilla.
The
for
reason
him.
why it seems like a parody is because that's exactly what he's doing. He's taking normal hentai plot, but then making it extra weird just for funsy onesie bing bongs.
But that's what I mean, because
But
that's what he's into.
I know, but I'm just saying that's why it seems like it's a parody, but it's not.
But you know, this, like, even though this was weird, I thought, and this is a different kind of weird, I thought the one with the moth girl was weirder.
Oh, because of the psychological horror aspect to it?
Yeah, like, to me, that was weirder than just ridiculous, impossible body things.
Hi, Fred.
Are you sure it's not because she was a bug?
Maybe.
Imagine doing weird bullshit like that for 20 years as a bit. No way. Kind of gotta agree with Fred on that one.
I mean, is he getting paid?
Yeah, this is his career for 15 years
Then the
almost.
check is good, Fred.
I gotta write more smut, man.
Sex sells, Ben.
If you want money.
I have a hentai idea myself, and I'm pretty sure it would go crazy.
Does it involve fits?
No.
The fuck?
Where did that come from, Xavier?
Shane Dawson?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
No.
I heard about that. I told you about that.
You asked.
I don't know how it started, but like I just heard about it. I was like, wait, what? For like 2 seconds.
In regards to Shane Dawson, I don't know when it started, where it came from, but you know.
Right.
It came from a podcast he did a long time ago, and he was just like, guys, it was the humor. I didn't actually do anything to my cat. I'm going to stop apologizing now because this is ridiculous.
Munzer says smart, man. He's
Yeah.
got an extreme niche covered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
he
else
does.
is gonna who's gonna fucking step onto John K. Peta's territory?
Josh.
I feel like Gesundheit would give it a run just for the meme of it.
Yeah, in a weird way, the Gesundheit does similar things, but when I read a Gesundheit, to me, it does seem like it's a parody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the same.
Still hate John though.
What did you all think about the bit, like, on page 7 where she's, like, pulling under the clitoral hood?
Oh,
That looked so bad.
painful. That looked
Yeah.
awful.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
I've never done that, but it just feels like it'd be painful.
I mean, I can't relate to that. And
I mean,
I
not-
actually dated a girl once that had a hooded clitoris, and I don't think it works that way.
No, I'm not saying it works that way, but
Like, literally, I looked at that and went, was I doing it wrong? Which is probably not a good reaction when reading this work, but holy shit.
No, it is not realistic.
I don't think you
try
should
that.
take any pointers on what you're doing right or wrong from this person.
I don't intend to.
Fiat.
does he want to get away?
Yeah.
that's you, butthole.
Oh, on page 8, there's that bit where she's licking her nose and sticking her tongue in there.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was also weird.
I did-
That was not.
I don't.
There's this big aspect of it where, like, they're exploring each other's bodies, and there's, like, this part of the body is supposed to be gross, and it's not supposed to be sexually attractive, but to them it is.
And then
Yeah.
they call, like, nose dirt,
Oh,
Yeah, nose dirt.
or they when something is dirty, they literally call it dirt,
Yeah.
which I thought was weird. But
That could just be translation, though.
oh, true.
What do you want to call it? Scum?
your nose scum.
Well, I feel like that's just a way of having something that's gross, not like the clean kind of grossness, right? Like
Well,
dirt
yeah,
isn't really.
because you don't want to be eating someone's boogers and eye boogers and like licking out their butthole and getting like little pieces of doo doo.
Yeah.
Like he didn't make it like that. He could have.
Yeah, it's like Yusuf said, right? Like, it's meant to be dirty with the whole, like, butthole licking and nose licking, but he doesn't draw it in a gross way. What does that do, or why do you think he does that? That when it comes to doing, even when the characters themselves are describing it as gross, it's still a relatively sanitary drawn
I think he's still like.
in a sanitary way.
I think he's still. He himself doesn't view sex as something dirty. So even when people are doing nasty things to each other, I'm not saying he's looking at it from like, oh, all sex is beautiful, but it's not. He's not looking at it with a puritanical point of view.
It's
Maybe it's just-
definitely.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's easier to read because if he drew it gross the way he's described.
And we're just kind of like next page.
I think the thing to remember is that he's drawing this for himself.
He wants to make you look.
My theory is, you ever heard the saying that the most sensitive sex organ is the brain?
Yeah.
I think to him it's probably more the idea that something is dirty rather than the fact.
Yeah. No, I think that's certainly a valid way of thinking of it. That's how I was thinking of it with the. There's also the taboo of something being dirty or non-sexual and then making it sexual.
Right.
Which he does to a lot of things. Like, we already mentioned stomach, but right after that page I was looking at with the nose licking, there's the infamous eyeball scene.
Yes.
What do you think?
The eyeball.
Yeah, the eyeball scene that this was probably many people's first introduction to the work of John K. Peta.
Yes, Josh. Many people. Good cover.
Hey, it was on an image board. I
Yeah.
wasn't the only one who saw it.
That's how he. I think it was your rest. But that's how a lot of people started, or probably like, oh, what the hell is this? I'm interested in this, and they're like, oh man, this is kind of hot. It's a little weird, but it's hot.
There's like an aspect of possession to that, isn't it? With the ownership of somebody's body, with taking
Yeah.
their eyeball out.
Yeah. And she
To
states
me,
it
I
too.
just kind of saw that as a facet of the dominant-submissive relationship. If that was placed in another context, I don't think I would have still seen it as a facet of ownership. That's just me personally.
I think it's
It's
taken
not
a
loading.
while. Yeah.
John K. Peta, the man who believes all sex is jolly cooperation.
That's her new pet name for it, Jolly Cooperation. Come, woman! Let us engage in jolly cooperation.
Why do you think he likes to sexualize those typically non-sexual aspects of the human body?
Well, the definition of a fetish is an area of intense fixation.
You think it's just fetish?
I just think he likes to be weird about it. It's
I mean, that's the first place my mind goes. But is there a deeper?
Well, because like it's very normal quote to find eyes attractive, right? Like you have pretty eyes, you have beautiful eyes, but then it's one thing to say somebody's eyes are attractive or nice to look at, and then to add a layer of sexual attraction to it. Because even if you like somebody's eyes, you usually don't sexually engage with their eyes.
I can kind of understand it to a certain extent because
hang on, my computer's dying. I got to plug it in real quick.
I think
we're slowly losing people at this table one by one.
I'm gonna in like 5 minutes. I have to go, so I'm just gonna go take a nap.
We have to carry, and then I gotta go to work later. So, Josh, I'm sorry, but you're running this solo. I think when intimacy and emotions get really high, there's this sense of I'm trying to figure out how to exactly to explain it. But I guess just wanting to be one with your partner, and a lot of times, for I guess most people, that would take the form of like emotional intimacy. But I can understand like if you're really, really into eyeballs, I want to be one with this eyeball tongue. I want to experience it more and experience it deeper.
It's like they're lizards.
And to me, there's kind of an understandable connection because we use tongues and mouths as sexual organs. So to me, there's like a bridge between the eye as an attractive piece of the human body, and then using the tongue, which can be used for sexual stimulation, and then connecting those two ideas.
Yusuf says the one-eyed pirate sex maneuver sexualizes an eye. Is that where you just shoot a load in the eye and then...
One of his works does have that I saw when I was looking for things where, and I know that's a sex act that some people engage in, is coming on somebody's eyes.
Yeah, some people are into it. That's what I'm saying. I think it's just a fetish.
Yeah, for his work, this isn't the only time he uses eyeballs. When I was looking at stuff for us to read, there's this one with the eyeball tongue scene. There was one where the guy had the girl hold her eyes open as he came on him. And then there's another one where the guy just kind of rubbed the tip of his penis on the eyeball. And they comment on how like squishy and stuff it is.
It's so weird. That has to irritate the eyes.
That's to burn. Like,
it burns.
At no point is that mentioned though. Like, I think anybody would understand that you typically don't touch your eyeballs because it hurts. But then there's no mention of like the idea that there's pain when it comes to sexual act with the eyeballs.
Yeah.
What about the rest of you? What did you all have to talk about when it comes to this specific piece of work here?
Oh, let's see. I have to refresh myself a little bit.
I did like that when there's the like X-ray things to their insides. It's not just a tube and like a cave, you know.
Oh, like some people draw it when they do that.
It shows that there's multiple holes, and I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I liked it.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
Because it implies he has an understanding of how the human body actually works.
He knows. He just chooses to disregard. It just reminds me of a passage in the Pathfinder Game Mastery Guide. When you world build, you make sure you know how everything works, so that way when you do go against the grain, it's all the more fantastical. But that is a really good point. Most people don't actually go out and draw.
It's usually just like a tube and like just a circle.
Yeah.
So
And
I thought that was fun.
It fills up with fluid.
Yeah.
But,
Well, let's take that a step further. Why do you think he might find it interesting, or what might people like about that idea of like, we know how the human body works, but we want to, in this fantasy, in the sexual fantasy that we have, why do we want to push it to be something where almost everything is an erogenous zone, where the human body can work in ways where it's not meant to?
I'm beginning to see why we usually take the author out of this, which is weird because we're talking about the author. But now that I know that he draws this because it's what he's into, that's just where my mind keeps going. It's like maybe he's really into the different anatomical parts of the woman. You know, we're not on the second one yet, but looking at the second one, I could definitely see, this guy likes uteruses. Maybe he just finds Maybe he just finds female anatomy erotic. Which is not necessarily weird in and of itself. Just
And
most
not
guys
just
don't go
like
as far as he does.
not
I guess
just
how
female
far can
anatomy,
it be pushed to? Probably.
the female reproductive system. Like he finds that super.
The whole thing is a sexual.
Well, to be fair, that is sexualized a lot in hentai just in general with the whole pregnancy thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just that, right? It's one thing to be like, oh, I'm gonna come in your vagina or your womb. It's another thing to like, I want to pinch your ovaries and I want to stick my penis in your fallopian
I
tubes.
want to touch your womb dick.
He definitely takes it farther than most people do. 100%. But I think the basis of that idea is not all that far out of this world.
What do you think, Xavier? Because you haven't been absent, but you've been in the bathroom.
Yes.
What do you think? Why do you think in John K. Peta's work there's this idea of the anatomy being recognized and shown because he draws the actual physical parts like we've pointed out, rather than just a hole with a circle at the end for the vagina and the womb that's going to get filled up with semen. He draws the actual, like we said, the actual bits and pieces, and then those themselves get sexualized, because in a lot of times, the thing about it, when you have sex normally, you don't see any of that stuff.
Well, first of all, you're assuming I have sex normally.
You think this is weird?
I think
Xavier has the sexual proclivities of a Cenobite.
I do think that he enjoys the more detail on it, because obviously it's like if I'm going to draw this, I'm going to make it sexy. So maybe he's just being efficient with it, or maybe he just
efficiency.
Yeah, because you don't want to waste drawing something with an X-ray, right? It's like, this is just going to get squirted on. I want to do something with this. That, or maybe he just, has an active imagination. He wants to do something with it. Just like, God damn it, why is it in there so deep? Why can't I do anything with it?
I want to diddle somebody's ovaries, goddamn.
Oh, no, Sean
there's like a
K.
weird
Peter, but
animalistic
there's just going
side
to
to
be
it.
someone
Really?
fisting a soul.
Maybe.
Oh, go ahead.
I
Expound on
don't
that.
really know how to explain that. I
Oh,
just feel
man.
like it's just weirdly animalistic as
I
well.
want to see a collab between Peter
And who?
and Gesundheit. Just,
we were talking about that right now.
well, the similarities.
Except that for Gesundheit it is a parody. Well, let's look at the next work. Let's look at the Waku Waku Ine-san chapter 4. You really don't need the previous 3 chapters to get what's going on in this one.
Clearly.
Yeah, but Xavier, will you recap this chapter for the audience?
Okay.
And perhaps the whole work if you choose to.
In the fantastic saga
Of Waku Waku
Daestra,
Ine-sans.
hi.
Oh, hey, you made it after all!
Ha. In this particular series of works, it's the boy that lives with his childhood friend, and he collects sex things as the series continues. But in this one, it's what the childhood friend, well, who's also his older sibling thing, her friend.
Her neighbor, isn't it?
Yeah, her
the
neighbor,
athletic neighbor.
Her neighbor, and then the other neighbor that's a MILF.
Who's also his childhood friend's boss.
Yes. And in this one, they have a competition to see,
Who he likes best.
and in regular hentai fashion, they have to use their bodies. And, well, it starts off normaler, and then it goes with no guys, I can't just go again, that's stupid, and they call him useless, and it has one of my favorite Mortal Kombat fatalities.
The womb uppercut.
Daestra, for the last couple weeks, we've actually been trying to start like an hour and a half ago, and it's just never panned out. But
What did he say?
Why so early? I thought you guys were creatures of the night. We are for normal streams when we have everybody, but for the Hentai Literature Club, it's kind of whoever can show up. So
It's usually us. And Tom, well, he can't.
For some reason, whenever I was like, oh, hey, we'll record an episode of the Hentai Lit Club, Tom gets scheduled for work.
Every time.
And the one time I canceled it, he had the day off. I do like Master and Commander said, what about John K. Peta, and instead of drawing fucked up shit, he just kills your pet. PETA's an awful organization, don't give them money.
They're only nominally worse than Disney, though.
Hey, don't say that, man. Disney's probably gonna own YouTube eventually.
Damn it.
So yeah, what did you all find interesting about this work, or what stood out to you? Starts off very normally. All three girls end up at one place, and they all have ingredients to make hot pot.
Yeah.
Everybody's having a good time. They're having food. They describe the character's sexual frustrations. For some reason, the older woman's husband left on a family trip without her.
Yeah, I felt like that one's a bit contrived, but it was kind of funny.
My husband took days off from work and took my son to go visit his family.
It's just like, oh, what? And it's like, oh yeah, but I make all the money. It's like, well, that's pretty shitty.
Disney is gonna own hentai too if they don't already.
Hentai belongs to the people.
Seriously. Disney needs to go down.
Like there's got to be an imprint of a subsidiary that does hentai, right? Like, does Marvel have an adults only?
I don't think so.
I mean, no, but some of their characters look like hoes.
If Disney does hentai, then does that mean all the little girls from the Disney Channel are gonna end up in that?
I mean, if they haven't already. But there's also...
This isn't the Japanese idol industry.
Yeah, there's also the fact, what happened to all those Disney princesses? Not that I haven't seen them take dick already, it's just...
Okay, hentai, like Japanese hentai I get, but why American cartoons?
Why have I
'Cause it's
seen that?
goofy.
It's just...
Literally.
Yeah, I've seen it too, so it's pretty
happens.
goofy.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying that's.
I can it's
You
not.
have to, that's an on ramp that you deliberately have to fucking.
Not really.
Turn on.
It's like when going through hentai, there's like, yes, you're looking for Western cartoons, right? So like it's...
They lump it in with hentai.
Okay.
To my understanding,
Like literally, go to Pornhub and look up hentai. You're gonna see a lot of advertisements.
you can find
and just-
Minecraft and Fortnite hentai.
Yeah, and it like all that stuff will be lumped together because it's cartoony.
I think we kind of see it happening now with the kids who are looking up like Minecraft and Fortnite porn.
God.
I think it's
their Minecraft porn.
It's awful. It is the worst porn I have ever seen.
Why have you seen it?
Because I want it to be able to say that with any credibility.
I think what happens.
You are a connoisseur, sir.
It's like this is wrong and gross and disgusting. These graphics are awful. Not good for sex.
I think what it is, and with people who enjoy pornography of like their favorite childhood characters, I think what it is I imagine it's that combination of growing up and having new experiences tied to perhaps having sexual awakenings at the same time you're very interested in these characters.
That's interesting. I was never able to look at hentai of any characters that I actually grew up with. It felt like I was, I don't know, somehow twisting it into something that was terrible, which I guess is a reflection of the puritanical views I've seen in myself lately that I'm not terribly comfortable
Well,
with.
because I imagine there's like that connection, at least in your head and other people's head, that this is part of my childhood. This is something sacred. This is something not sexualized.
Right.
Well, for some people, there's going to be that connection made for them where they're having a sexual awakening and sexual experiences at the same time as they're interested in this. So it's understandable in a way that you would want to see these things sexualized as part of like an experimental mindset.
I want to see Jasmine bang the genie.
Oh, I don't want to see that.
You respect Robin Williams Ghost unless you're talking about the reboot.
No.
Then you might be able to work something out with Will Smith. He's still alive.
Then he's willing to do just about anything nowadays.
Which is weird. Usually when people get famous enough, they don't do shit.
Lola Bunny via Space Jam to the furry fandom was basically.
Yeah, that's what I was
just a
thinking of.
card.
So many people who had like a furry awakening, that instinct came with Space Jam and Lola Bunny.
Yeah. People also love Jessica Rabbit.
But
For
back to
obvious
the
reasons.
Okay, well, Jessica Rabbit's deliberately sexualized.
True. I'm just saying, people really fucking love Jessica Rabbit. It's kind of scary.
Most of the people I see that are legitimate fans of Jessica Rabbit are women.
People.
You haven't seen
Oh, you're saying women aren't people?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, it's very different. Most people aren't whacking off to Jessica Rabbit porn.
You haven't seen the comment section in just regular YouTube videos, and then just like on Pornhub when you accidentally come across that shit and you're curious.
I'm sorry. Clearly, I'm out of my league here. I will leave the
Yes,
discussion
because you're
to
boring. You don't watch porn.
So getting back into the text, we might as well just get straight to the interesting part, because like we said, he does fairly standard hentai plot tropes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the weird, crazy stuff starts happening on page 12 of the Waku Waku Onesan chapter 4,
Yeah,
when
right.
the womb comes out.
Yeah, where he like screws her and then he pushes her like womb up
Yeah,
against her skin.
and it shows that the previous panel is you can see the penis pushing the uterus and the womb up.
I like how it still has that like T shape.
Yeah.
It's like they drew in the fallopian tubes, the ovaries, everything's in there.
I just I
Like
don't-
I've seen other hentai where you just see the penis going through there, but like this
Oh,
guy
with
just
the bump of the penis.
yeah. But this guy just goes like, "Oh, we're gonna show the whole womb."
but like I don't know how. Like it's like show. So maybe you can do that. Maybe you can't. Whatever. In the hentai land, that's nebulous. But do they actually get any kind of
Pleasure out of this?
yeah?
To her, it is
She
because
seems to, yeah.
she's getting the hardest dicking of her life.
It's like yeah, her fucking uterus is being pushed out.
A friend of mine got horned up to the monster from Fern Gully, which is extremely funny to me. 3D is part of that too.
Monster from Fern Gully? I don't think I've ever actually seen Fern Gully.
3D is part of that too. I remember having a ridiculous crush on Kimberly from Power Rangers, and then it happened.
I too had a crush on Kimberly from Power Rangers.
They discuss what the appeal of that is. The appeal of 3D women. Okay, well, the appeal of 3D women is you can actually fuck them. That's
I would agree.
that is.
Oh
that is
wow,
one of them.
that's
Have you
a hell
been to
of a thing
recent
get
anime
horned up with.
conventions with the VR stuff?
I haven't.
Have you not seen those videos yet? Really?
I mean, I've seen. I know that they exist. I don't want to do that to myself just yet.
Oh, just
I'm gonna see the
it's-
Power Rangers pretty soon. I don't want to.
You don't want to have the memory sullied.
Yeah,
We were just
When
talking
is the
about that.
Comic-Con?
April 10th, 11th, 12th.
Fuck. Okay, I missed
The
it.
problem is the Ruby panel is going to be at the same time as the Power Rangers meet and greet.
Fuck me.
But
Okay, well,
the Power Rangers are having a second photo op the day after.
Okay, that's better.
What did you think? Because you laughed when you saw that picture, the
I-
whole womb getting pushed out.
I just thought it was ridiculous. Like I thought it was just too out there, and it was funny because it's too ridiculous.
Daestra was asking if we discussed the appeal of the stomach distension.
What the appeal of it is.
Oh, the appeal of stomach distension. Well, that's something that happens in hentai quite a lot, right? Especially with tentacle hentai.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
you see
sometimes.
a lot of, well, not all the time, but a lot of times you'll see like the tentacles pushing up against
Yeah.
the woman's stomach.
Yeah, because it's going super deep.
Like my initial thought of why people like physical like stomach distension, or in this case uterus distension, is because like sex isn't it's a physically interior act, right? Like the penis goes into the vagina. In real life, you're not going to really, unless you have a camera and then a TV in front of you with some sort of surgical device set up, you're not going to be able to see what's happening inside.
Penis POV.
I want a little camera.
You don't want to see that. I've seen a video of that before. It looks gross.
Yeah, but there's like this idea of like, it's like this thing that you really don't get to see, and then it's like there's this physical representation of it that happens when the penis or the tentacles or whatever is getting pushed out to the.
I actually have a different point of view on that.
Yeah.
I think it's entirely possible that, I guess, if you're really into anatomy like John K. Peta seems to be, the perversion of that anatomy is sort of, I don't want to say necessarily defiling, but messing with it in some way could also be sexually appealing to him, I think. The fact that, or the knowledge that I am interacting with this. That's my 2 cents anyway.
No, I can see that. What about you, Annie? What do you think is the appeal of seeing? I also think there was like an extreme aspect to it, right? It's like this idea that something is getting pushed to its limit if it's literally getting pushed
Yeah.
up towards the skin,
All
Yeah,
the
like
way.
the female anatomy is just getting pushed so hard.
or that like the sexual pleasure is extreme because you can see it physically on the outside of the body.
Daestra and Master, you were both correct.
What did they say?
Daestra said, I don't have the right equipment to know, but wouldn't that, like, I don't know, hurt like hell? And Master and Commander, uterine distension sounds like something you get rushed to the ER for.
Probably.
Point Break, but for fucking.
Though, to be fair, that must be a hell of a story to tell.
Yeah, right.
It's like why is your uterus not inside of you? It's like, I got fucked so hard.
It was so good.
I mean, that's better than showing up with something stuck up there, though, right?
He
Like-
stuck it really deep, and I squeezed too hard.
I think from my point of like pride, yeah. It's just like, yeah, but on like a surgical level, you're just like, come on. Like they can just take they can take the Buzz Lightyear out of your asshole, right? But just to put the uterus back in and just make sure everything just fall out again.
Did you guys already talk about how he uppercuts their vaginas
No.
and they don't really notice at first?
I was about to get to that. I mean, they kind of noticed.
They
right?
notice
They go, what?
Yeah,
Well,
because
look, it's a slam.
Yeah, but they say, hey, what's going on? Is like.
Well, I mean, it might just be the shock of getting punched so hard.
I think it was more just like, where is this immense amount of pleasure coming from?
Yeah, page 16 and 17 at what we're looking at has the
do you hear that Mortal Kombat
the
music?
uterus uppercut. So I know he said it's not parody, but it's kind of drawn comically, right? Because he has a very serious combat face.
Cool. He's just like, you dare insult me as a man?
Pretty much. He's very
And
upset.
until he's ready to go again, he just fists him.
Yeah.
Pretty damn deep. Look at that fucking...
It's poking through their pelvis.
No, it's like out. Like, I don't...
He's going through some
Well, no,
bones.
I'm talking about when he first did it. Like,
Oh.
Yeah, combat face.
yeah, on Combat Face on page 17, I think it is. Like, he's just like going in there, and it just goes through the pelvis.
Yeah, he's fractured bones.
Yeah, probably.
So they show them throwing up on the next page. What do you think is the appeal of that? Like I mentioned it,
Well,
and that it almost seems like it's like a substitute or like a complement to the idea of a woman squirting.
Well, like I said, he
I
only ever
don't-
seems to show that in tandem with like stomach manipulation.
I don't think so. I just think that's so weird. Like, personally, I just
The
feel
throw up.
yeah. Like, I don't see it as the equivalent of squirting. I just feel like, oh, look at how weird this
Well,
is.
it's 'cause
just
I don't
grab
think
their
I don't think
stomach.
it's the equivalent of squirting. I just noticed he seems to use it where squirting might happen, or
Yeah.
sometimes it happens with squirting.
Daestra, define a wholesome artist.
What did he say?
Are you going to have more wholesome artists on the next Late Show scene?
I mean, I guess comparatively to Mr. John K. Peter, yes.
I like more wholesome. We did that one. We started out so nice.
Does he do a shoryu? Is that like, or is it like a boring uppercut?
I mean, he does a double uppercut. I don't...
No, what's
Yeah,
the
see,
point of
we
that?
need
I
a
don't
palate
understand what the
cleanser.
point of vomiting is, Fred. I have no idea.
Well, it's because to make more room.
They ate too much.
Maybe that's why they're puking, because he has to displace, organs to be able to shove his hand up there.
Yeah.
So things are being squished, moved around. So the stomach is probably just been like, and that's why everything comes out, because there's nowhere else for it to go.
I was going to say, for me, an explanation for why that's literally happening is not as interesting as why it's being drawn in the first place.
Well, yeah.
Because I want, to me, the question is what's the sexual appeal of that in tandem with fisting and
Yeah.
other extreme sexual acts?
Again, I
don't
think
know.
it's the thing of like being pushed to the limit is what it is.
Some
but it's,
people also just like getting puked on. It's a thing.
Yeah,
Oh god, that's
yeah.
a thing. I didn't know.
Yes.
that.
like I know there's such thing as like vomit and puking fetishes, but usually the act of like urinating, squirting, or even defecating, it has like that sort of Freudian, not Freudian appeal, but like the idea that it's something pleasurable that happens. Yet vomiting, for those of us who have vomited before, usually isn't a nice physical sensation.
No.
Are
But you
implying that
usually
not everyone
relieve
has
that.
vomited?
But afterwards, it feels great, because you got
Yeah,
all
you-
that nastiness out.
Kind of like masturbation. But
You expel your demons that way. I told you, Xavier has the sexual proclivities of a Cenobite.
but
So much to show you.
He's too bad at fighting to do a shuriken, so he uses both hands. And then he says Dan Hibiki doesn't fuck them.
he doesn't fuck.
Oh, is that the one that you suggested in the Discord already, Daestra? But yes. Xavier, do you have anything else to say about this work?
Again, I was a little disappointed he didn't go for the one with the landlord.
Oh, with the fallopian tube fucking?
Also where she sticks her hand in her ass and strokes his cock while while he's inside her. There's penis and vagina, and she's like, okay, well, this is pretty good, and she's like, I can make it better. Fist in ass, strokes cock. It's incredible.
The closest I've ever seen to that is like a dude shoving his wang down a girl's throat and then jacking off while grabbing onto her throat.
Yeah,
Well, isn't
that's
there-
much more plausible.
And I was like, oh, that's not pleasant.
You let the butt out.
So onto the
that butt.
onto the uterus grasping scene.
Yeah.
Get the butt out.
Page 21.
Fantastic. Look at that.
Oh, the
He's like
It's-
milking them. It's great.
yeah, it's an unusual thing to think of, right? Comparing the sexual reproductive organs of two women, and then you also have to wonder how he's grabbing them.
Yeah, because like, how do you?
Also, I mean, I know
There's
this-
only one access hole, and he's behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Like, I know this isn't about true to life anatomy, but I'm pretty sure ovaries don't change just because like you're older and have more experience birthing children.
Well, the baby making bit is supposed to be bigger. The
Because
actual
it has experience.
because a baby's been in there before.
I thought he also mentions the
He mentions her ovaries. The young woman. He said she has such light, springy ovaries.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They're just like grapes.
Oh. Peeled grapes?
I mean, yeah.
They're probably pretty squishy.
Versus the testicles that are unpeeled grapes.
In a leather sack. So what do you all think of the whole womb stroking bit where she's like, and there's a whole bit where the woman refers to her ovaries as lady nuts.
Are you talking about him grasping the outside of them, or like?
No, when he's grabbing the inside of it and he's quote unquote milking it,
Okay, yeah.
and
It does
she
look
says
like an udder, like a cow udder.
Yeah.
yeah, the way he grabs it.
Yeah, he's pretty much milking their uteruses.
But I thought it was interesting that the ovaries get compared to testicles, and that the womb gets milked like a penis in a way. You guys said udder, but the girls call it a womb dick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why do you think there's that comparison between the female anatomy and the male anatomy? Do you think it's for an understanding for the male audience of how good the woman's feeling?
I was thinking that
Yeah.
because you did say that. I don't know if we were streaming at the time, but you did say that this is something you see done more for the benefit of a male audience.
Yeah,
And
I imagine this is more of a appeal for men than women.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that case,
Well, it was because this one found it disgusting. This one couldn't stop laughing.
I could
I
definitely.
did both
Yeah.
actually.
This one, Josh.
What do you
this
mean?
one is that all we are? This one.
Don't do
Not
this to
even-
me.
You're all interchangeable.
Oh, thanks. I mean, you can go to her now.
Okay, first, the master and the commander said, "Love to describe the tactile experience of a woman's internal organs, which will in no way make me sound like a serial killer."
You gotta write hentai. That's how it works.
Daestra said, "Oh my god, it sounds immensely painful." And Shamina Warren said, "This is true feminism. This is 100% true equality in pornography. We're breaking new ground." Daestra said, "All males start as female in womb." So parallels in that way?
I do think it's more for just like, what the hell was this feel like? And he's just like, well, if he's comparing it to
testicles and
yeah,
penises.
to your dick and balls, and you're just like, okay, I can see how this might be
Yeah,
pleasurable.
translates the woman's pleasure in a way
In
of
a-
male.
yeah.
Now, someone
male way.
squishing my testicles is not something.
Well, not for you.
I guess yeah, but like those are pretty sensitive. I don't want anyone.
There's people who go to DOMs and specifically ask them to stomp their nuts over and over.
I mean, I tell you, when Charlie grabs my fallopian tube, it's great.
Oh, yeah. I just grab them and jump rope.
So, so that's probably the one.
I think this is one of my favorite ones because it's so ridiculous. I know the way you described it, I thought I'm gonna hate this. It's gonna be crap.
Because there's a lot of
and
people
not.
who have the very ugh kind of reaction to it.
Well,
But
when,
those guys are losers.
like when I was reading it, it was just fun. It was just fun.
Yeah,
I would, that's what it was doing for me. I
You're
was
pushing
having
the
fun.
mic.
that's what hentai is supposed to be. Everyone's supposed to be having fun.
Yeah, no, it's super silly, but at the same time, it's like, it's kind of gross, because if you think about it in the form that it's supposed to be, where it's gross, then yeah, but if you look at it like that way, it's also funny. Like, it was both for me. I was like,
Yeah, because there's a few different ways to read his work, right? Like, there's a whole, like, oh, this is gross, this is weird, this isn't how the body works. Then there's a, this is kind of funny and how absurd it is. And there's a, this is my jam, why haven't I found this before kind of way to look at it.
Why haven't I thought about licking people's eyeballs?
This isn't how it works. Oh, yeah?
Right. So, Annie, would you like to summarize the last work I fall to pieces?
Oh,
The
yeah,
one,
yeah.
the one you liked the least?
Okay, it's not that I didn't like it the least. I just thought, you know, he went from consensual relationships to rape, so whatever.
I mean, wouldn't you want to be, like, you know, disembodied and just do all kinds of fun stuff for Josh?
Yeah, you could.
Really?
You could be.
You said that a little too seriously. I'm wondering if you're not joking.
You could be in the kitchen
What?
making food, and and then Josh is using your other half.
Because that's all women are good for, right?
Do you know how to hear tones
There you
anymore
go.
in someone's voice?
See?
Face no.
Okay, so
He's not gonna do anything.
yeah, he won't eat it.
You
So-
butthole.
This one
He'll
is
just lick it. He will throw shit on the floor
he
though.
might, yeah, he. Okay, so this one's about a magic club that is going to be closed because, what is she, like the student council or some?
She is.
She's part of.
This is really nice.
I don't think she's student council president.
No,
is
she wasn't student council. Well, she's in whatever.
Disciplinary committee.
Yeah,
Yeah, like a
she has the
disciplinary
authority to cancel the club, or at least she's passing on the message. The president of the club goes, "You can't do this.
Babe, can you go put those in the kitchen? 'Cause he's getting his tail all over them.
You can't do this because this is like where are we gonna do the magic?" So then they decide to do a magic trick so that she doesn't close it. Well, the magic trick is the guy takes her head off and puts it
On the
somewhere
table.
else
On a
the
desk.
table, on a desk. Then she panics and she's like, "Well, this is I can't let a club that I don't understand happen."
Yeah, that was super shitty of her.
Yeah.
It's just like, if you can do a trick that'll surprise me, I'll let you do it. It's like, oh, okay. And boop, and oh, no, I can't let this
It's
happen.
yeah.
So really, she instigated this. Let's get that clear.
So then she's on her way to run and, you know, dismantle this club.
Are you
But
saying she was
then-
asking for it, Xavier?
Yes, before we started, he said she was asking for it. He said she deserved it.
Xavier's a rape
She had it
apologist
coming.
for-
You know, karma works in mysterious ways. Some people, you know, they just get down on luck, and some people get, you know, dismembered and fucked.
I guess so. So then she is dismembered and they have sex with her body parts and they make her watch. And then
they fuck her.
oh, and then she has really weird boobs and nipples that like look like the pencil eraser pencil, the
eraser on the
pencils.
pencil.
And she's like, at the end, she's like, the guy can do this magic because he got abducted by aliens, right? And
He got John Travolta in that one movie.
and she's like, "Hey, can you what can you do with that magic?" And then she goes, "Can you make my boobs not so weird?" And then he gives her 4 boobs,
On accident.
but they're not weird boobs apparently.
I guess. Well, because she had her nipples were huge comparatively to like how big her tits
And
were.
they had pencils poking out of them.
Hey, Tim Curry had nipples like that.
I didn't know that.
You haven't seen Scary Movie 2?
No,
You never saw that joke?
No. I'm sorry.
I don't know if this is a question I can go to the university and ask my professors, Daestra.
What was it?
We'll go ask an anatomy professor what they think of this.
Master and the Commander says, "Oh man, you guys need to show some of this dumb bullshit to like a trauma surgeon."
Like the fucking who does that? Like Wired has their YouTube channel where
Yeah.
they get professionals to talk about things.
Yeah.
CAFCON gets a professional to talk about hentai. So can you tell me exactly what would happen when the woman's uterus is getting pushed to her skin? No.
You know what?
Excuse
that
me,
actually
doctor.
sounds like a pretty funny fucking video.
Like, what would happen if your uterus prolapsed?
Like, get a doctor in here, like, really
What do we
fast.
know in the medical profession? We know somebody, don't we?
I do.
Mrs. Panko.
But she.
You want to bring in Mrs. Panko? You fucking degenerate.
I used to play War Machine with a guy that was going to medical school, but I don't even think he's in town anymore.
So Xavier, was that the funniest aspect of the story? Was the whole the guy can do this because he got experimented on by aliens?
And why did they need to practice their magic?
That was the best part.
They already won. He can do real. He can perform miracles.
They were trying to
What
call
was-
down the mothership for the other two.
What was the club like? He can do magic. What were the other two doing? Trying to learn.
Being his assistants or something, so to make it look like magic tricks and not just him being a god.
So, like I said, I picked this one because it's one of his newest works that he's made.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, this is kind of an evolution from what he's done before, right? Because before he was just kind of being extreme with what the human body is capable of. In this one, he literally dismantles the sexuality. Not dismantles the sexuality, but he dismantles the woman's body and uses it in a sexual way.
I'm surprised that he didn't go further though.
Like having sex with the armholes or something like
Yeah,
that?
or just like because the torso remained intact, right? In one piece, I was just like, you could do more. I know you can.
Push
You
it
could have
further.
divided that multiple ways.
Yeah, you could have just been like, I'm taking the ass.
Here's a boob for you, a boob for you.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with one boob? I mean, yeah, it's fun.
Well, you
but-
can't.
You suck on it like a nipple. Like on a baby nipple.
I mean, yes, but you can't. You're not gonna get off doing that. I mean, unless you're like really, really hard.
A lot
Or
of
you
guys
can
like
make
boobs.
her suck on one boob.
There you go. Oh my god. Why are you not
Use-
thinking like
Use
this
her
one?
other pencil nipple to like penetrate her vagina.
Maybe play hacky sack with it.
Well, ideally, you would take two boobs so that way you could like tit fuck.
I mean, yeah, but there's the whole there's her vagina, there's her butthole, and then there's her mouth. And Fitz, what the fuck are you doing?
It's a bag. He can't help it.
Oh,
He's a
it crinkles.
So that, and there was like 3 guys. So all that's all filled. So the guys need to do something else with their hands and mouth.
Get more guys in here. You can absolutely divide that up and just, have fun.
She could have had she could have been like rubbing her own tits. I don't know.
You could rub the tits with each other.
There you go.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't do anything with like her
You
arms and stuff, like making her jack them off or something. Like that was
Yeah, this was a pretty
She could just death grip him. Just, hey, put me back together now. I'm not letting go.
Like I just now realized that like they didn't do anything with the other body parts.
Oh,
That's amazing.
Daestra said stress ball,
Boob.
I mean, they do work on it.
a hat. Shimina Warren.
Yusuf, that's
I mean, you could open the vagina or the butt and put it on as a
that's
hat.
true. That's true. Yeah.
In a John K. Peter world.
Obviously not in real life.
That
I mean-
that would ruin your hair.
It depends, like how big. Like if they're a small person, potentially, their head's not that big. So
Does she put herself back
maybe-
together with the Iron Giant?
I don't know.
No, she is not in control of the magic.
It's kind of interesting how this is like a push forward with the idea of like breaking apart the female body to perform sexual acts you usually can't see. Like to me, you usually see this with like the Dullahan in Monster Girl
Yeah.
hentai. But
Yeah.
her head's detached from her body, so she can eat herself out, or she can be in another part of the room and she's giving you head or whatever. And
Though, I think usually with the Dullahan. Okay, well, with the one I saw, there's always that question of if I shove my cock down your throat, what happens? This one answered that.
Does it disappear?
So good on Mr. Peter for that. Cause it's like, oh yes, I can see my penis bulge over there. But now that I've got other questions about that, right? Like how's the whole body connected? But
Magic.
that's
that's just how it works.
I know.
It's always how it works.
Maybe they're little portals that you just can't see.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's like a wormhole, like Master and Commander said.
Is it, or are they temporarily displaced? I don't know.
I feel like we're putting way too much thought into this.
You're not putting
That's what
enough
we're here
thought into
for.
this.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not interested in the theoretical physics of my dick in a dismembered woman.
Why
You're
not?
supposed to be. That's what we're talking about.
Imagine if this is the This is the piece of pop culture that unlocks teleportation for humans.
Look up fun with portals.
I think I've actually read that.
He invented the jump drive.
So is there anything else interesting you all kind of saw with this work, or something that was different, considering this is something new as compared to something from 10 years ago that we've been looking at?
Are they that old?
Yeah.
You think he's just getting to a point where he's like, what could I possibly do with the fucking body at this point?
He's absolutely doing that. You were at the end of Black Serena. But he says that every time he makes a new work, he's like, can I push it further?
Yeah.
I've already done something like this.
I wonder if this has a second chapter and if they're gonna milk her like a cow. 'Cause she has 4 boobs.
Oh, yeah, she does. And how's she gonna wear a bra, right? Is she gonna have 2 bras? Or is she gonna get one really big bra?
Maybe she's gonna like strap them down and then strap the bottom ones down, and then, you know.
I mean, theoretically, the guy could just drape the sheet over him and knock him off, right? It's not hard for him to fix.
Yeah. The next day, though, because he has a refractory period. He's pretty tired.
Well, we're kind of getting off the text here, so I think it's a good time to kind of wrap up what we've been talking about. Chaz, what can you kind of summarize what we've talked about today?
Summarize what we've talked about today?
Yeah, about what...
I'm way too exhausted for this shit, but I'll give it my best. John K. Peta is a man that writes these things for himself, and as such, a lot of the themes that crop up in his work is his sexual proclivities towards anatomy, as well as translating a woman's pleasure into basically a man's pleasure. He's very carnal with his desires, and by that I mean he's very into the human body, a lot of different facets of human body. I think, and again, he likes the idea that something might be dirty or unclean or impure or something, but it's more the thought than the actual fact. What that was mostly what I said. I'm sorry. What
No.
did I miss?
Anna, can you put anything else into that?
Anna, can you correct this dumbass over here?
I think he's just exploring how far he can get,
Hi, Commander
and
Vulcan.
that people are gonna
Commander
like.
Vulcan, high five.
You know, he's just exploring how far his imagination can take his stories.
Xavier is a Cenobite. What can you add to this?
Well, he's not going far enough.
I mean, with that last one, yeah, I feel like he can push it. I want to see him do this.
He's just having fun. We're all just having fun.
John K. Pete is just getting started.
I want to see him go to the point where, like, he has to start putting the dark tags on it, just to describe what's going on.
You mean like moral degradation and hand holding?
Yes. She could have been holding her own hands.
I mean, but you can do that now.
I mean, yeah, but see, there's nothing sexy about this.
But if they were detached from his arms.
Then, oh boy.
So it seems what everybody seems to have caught on to here is there's this idea of extremes and exploration in his work.
Daestra's looking forward to the Build a Hentai Workshop segment for this. Me too.
It's more like not built, taking somebody apart.
Well, then let's get to the Build a Hentai Workshop segment for this. Should we try to build our own John K. Peta story, or should we have everybody try to come up with a John K. Peta scenario?
I'm not too sure, right? Because there's...
What do you think?
Commander Vulcan said, I will tell you my story on Discord later. What are we talking about today? Also, this is another week we are mentioning scene bites. Now let's mention Slanish.
So Slanish.
Slanish.
If I'm
Well,
not...
first of all praise be to Korn. Second of all, what do you feel is more, I guess, conducive to the point of the segment?
Yeah.
No, I guess let's try to do a Build a Hentai Workshop.
Okay.
Alright, who wants to give us the super tropey vanilla plot that's going to get this whole thing started?
A harem.
Melinda. Yeah, you've watched tons of porn. Make this happen.
A harem.
Okay, you have a harem scenario. What? You give us some details about this harem scenario that's going to get petified.
Do you want me to do like just a regular tropey, or do you want me?
Just
super
most vanilla ass trope.
Okay. Tsundere, Loli, and what should be a third one? Tall girl.
You know, I had an idea for that, and that's going to make my idea really interesting.
Okay.
All right, give us your idea.
My idea is somehow, through alien magic, whatever, the women ended up getting split in half, and they end up having sex by mixing and matching different halves from different women. And considering she said lowly and tall girl, that's going to make some interesting combinations.
I was talking about this when I was picking Xavier up, but John K. Peta actually has a work which is the only time I've seen the tag midget be used, regardless of the political correctness of that tag.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like, that's not even lowly. He actually drew a little person.
So, the Master and the Commander says, okay, no, fuck that shit, dude. If we're taking people apart, it needs to be Monsoon from MGR, but for fucking.
And so we have this scenario where these women have been split apart, and how
Like, all the different parts are to the wrong person, so is that what you're saying? Or just half?
So I'm assuming you meant top and bottom half. So
I was thinking down the middle. If we're gonna John K. Peta this, we're gonna take it to the fucking limit, down the fucking middle, and then you stick the lily on the tall girl, and then
Down the middle and across.
Well, here's an interesting scenario. I'll kind of revise the scenario by saying, like, have you guys ever seen, like, Oh My Goddess or anything like that? Where, like,
I read the manga in high school, and I don't fucking remember a damn thing.
well, you remember how the basic premise is, like, the guy gets one wish granted, right?
Sure.
So
I was serious. I don't remember
Yeah,
shit.
so
You could tell me it was the plot of fucking Titanic. I wouldn't contradict you right now.
well, we'll say that there's a guy and he wishes for the perfect woman, and then an angel
Hold
or
on.
a goddess or whatever. What are you gonna
What
say?
if it's a reverse harem? Because Daestra did say that, and they're all very, inexperienced, and they wish, they all kind of separately wish. Oh, I hope one of us gets turned into a girl. But since they all make the same wish, they all get turned into girls, and then it becomes the harem.
So wait, is there still the one dude who's
No,
just
they're all girls, but because they all made the same wish, so now they're all girls.
so now they're just like, hey, what can these bodies do? And they're
And
just
then,
like,
fucking
one of
try.
them prolapses their womb dick to fuck the others.
Because they don't know how the body works, so they're just like, let's figure this out.
let's explore our bodies together, guys.
No, I'm sorry, I cut into what you were saying. Go
Well,
ahead.
my idea was to make it that it's basically like the whole wish-granting manga scenario where a guy wishes, man, I wish I could meet the perfect girl. And then an angel or a goddess is like, hey, I found 3 girls who kind of match the description. Why don't you... They've been taken apart, so you can kind of put them together to make...
Make some
Perfect.
match. What's your favorite?
And then it's like, oh, well, look at this uterus. Look at this uterus. Look at this one. Which one's your favorite? It's like, the tall girl has such a large one, but then... I don't want to get too far with this.
We all know where this is going. We know which one has the least amount of use.
Okay.
Sunday.
Hopefully.
I don't know, there's just a lot.
People like to build a hentai part. Modular women. It's
Not
the future.
bionicle women, yes. Just order them and they come in like the little things. Yeah, put them together yourself. Sometimes it's part missing. Sometimes you get extra parts. It can have 2 vaginas. I mean, that's optimal, right? Sometimes they'll have like an extra butt cheek, and you're just like, well, I kind of can't do anything with this. So I'll just kind of put it in the front. There you go.
New from Bionicle, the Toho.
There's one guy who all these girls together to stick things into his urethra.
Oh God, no! Yusuf, what is wrong with you?
He said that's pure PETA.
It
He's
is.
not wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's incorporate it in.
Stick things into urethra.
Well, it's like these disembodied women are like, hey, you can't just be doing this to us. We're gonna experiment with you too. Just different things shoved in this poor man's urethra. Turns out he likes it.
It's a woman with
Fish.
4 asses.
I think I saw a furry with 2 vaginas once.
So we have this idea of a man trying to build the perfect woman out of 3 women.
Yes.
What kind of sexual John K. Peterson shenanigans happens?
He sticks an eyeball in the urethra and fucks it.
Well,
I'm starting to thinking I can out Peta a little bit.
A little bit.
I was gonna say he's like, hey, I want you to see what's gonna happen. So he just takes one of the girl's eyeballs,
See,
puts it
he's
in the
on board.
vagina.
Makes it makes instead of having a clit, it's an eyeball.
8 legs, 7 vaginas.
And so the girl can see herself as she's getting fucked from the inside. Oh no! I said if the eyeball was.
The logistics of that broke my mind. Like the clit is on the outside.
No, I was thinking with the eyeball still inside the vagina.
Ah, okay.
And then just the tip of the penis like he's done before hitting the eyeball.
And then ejaculates on the eyeball.
Yeah. Eyeball gets pushed into the womb probably.
I think this is.
And then you connect the vagina to the stomach, so every time he ejaculates, the woman throws it up.
It's like Benoit balls for the womb.
Shamina Warren said 8 legs, puffs pipe, 7 vaginas. He combines clits. Imagine Bionicle
Like 1,000.
with like 1,000 interchangeable parts. Congratulations, you're all Strog from Quake.
I love body horror.
I get that reference. That's funny.
I don't get that.
It's from the video game series Quake, and the Strogs are like cybernetic fucking mangled people.
Okay.
Who Xavier? You haven't given us a John K. Peta scenario for.
I mean, you guys got everything covered, basically, right?
Well, something that's on
Well, it
par
has
with
to
the.
end,
But they
in a
haven't done
nice
anything
way.
with the womb.
It ends with a
has to
nice
end
way.
in a nice. They all ended in a pretty nice way.
Turns out these 3 women were all miserable, and now they're all happy being a genetic freak of nature with an eyeball
Okay, wait. So which premise were we running with?
I don't know. It got out of
I'll go
hand.
with the wish granting one I came up with.
Okay.
Please never take any dots in vicissitude.
Okay.
Then I would say this would end. How? It has to be happy. Or
Yeah,
more or less.
this guy's trying to build a perfect woman out of 3 different women.
He realizes they're all perfect in their own way.
No, better yet, he realizes he was the perfect woman. So he just becomes one.
All right.
And one of the girls is like, "Hey, I really liked it when you took your penis off and put it on me. I don't mind holding on to it
Yeah.
for you."
And they all just fuck each other.
Fudanari. Woo.
Yeah, and it ends up with it's still a harem, but the guy who was originally going to have the harem ends up as part of the harem, and he's like, "You know what? This is way better."
Yeah, I was like, this is great.
He's like, "Turns out vaginas orgasm way longer than penises."
It's just
Okay.
better this way.
All right, we need a title for it.
Ooh.
Interchangeable parts. I'm just kidding.
I was going to go with modular love or something like that.
Pieces
I like that
of
one.
my heart.
Pieces of my heart.
That works.
You know what? I give these things. Well, I tend to name these like Western romances, and really, when that's not what the Japanese do. So
What
I
kind of names
reject
do
my
these
own
have?
suggestion.
A lot of it was Wildly Blooming Black Serena, Waku Waku Renaissance, and then I Fall Apart, or I Fall to Pieces.
So
Do you have a title? Mine was Modular Love.
that one is pretty solid.
I think Charlie got it though. I like that one. I like both of those though, actually.
By the Beauty of Grimnir.
Daestra says usually I'm the one that comes up with it, but I think Chaz got it.
Trying my penis out. It's pretty great.
Vicissitude. Why don't
Customizable coitus.
I like that one.
All right, we'll go with customizable coitus.
That took me way longer to come up with than it should have, but I think it's better.
So, I'd like to thank all of you that showed up to this John K. Peta-centric episode of the
guys
Hentai
are
Literature
awesome.
Club.
Every one of you.
We have all that social media that you can look at. A thank you to all the patrons who throw money at us to allow us to do ridiculous stuff like this. You can go to that Patreon if you want to throw more money at us, or if you haven't thrown money at us. We promise we'll use it to buy new equipment and not spend it all on Mountain Dew.
Yeah, we lost a patron today. I am sorry. I wish I knew how I failed you.
But other than that, thanks for sticking around, liking, commenting, all that stuff, especially to all of you who showed up to the live stream to talk with us. I'll see you all on Discord,
Bye-bye.
where we can keep talking there, and you can tell us the story you said you were going to tell us on Discord. Until then, we will see you on our stream on Wednesday. What are we playing?
This Wednesday is going to be... Actually, I wanted to ask you guys this. This Wednesday is supposed to be our review of Scion 2nd Edition.
That's right.
I feel like we're gonna knock that out in like an hour or something. So is there maybe something else we want to do just to hang out with our fans and entertain them? Like, do we want to do some Jackbox or something?
I don't mind.
Okay.
Sure, we can figure something out.
All right. We'll talk when Tom and Adam are here and can give their opinions. Anyway, Fap on.
Yeah.
Bye bye.